What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the recent physique update of Samson Dauda. So just second week into his off-season and just take a look at state of things right now. Mind-blowing. The man is already looking absolutely massive. And no wonder everyone agrees that if Samson Dauda puts it all together, he is gonna win the Olympia. Even if we look back at his physique at the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing, where he was completely off everything. All the gear, all the PEDs, minimal diet and minimal training. It was really unbelievable to see. How can he hold on to that much size, that much mass? And honestly, he was looking pretty lean at that guest posing. So there were a lot of comparisons between Quentin and Samson Dauda. And I have to say, maybe in a few years, that comparison would be fair. Because as of right now, the difference in terms of mass, that is just outrageous. So both Samson Dauda and Andrew Jewett, they are very unique bodybuilders in a sense that they're both 6 feet tall. And even at that height, they are pretty much filled out. So Andrew Jewett, we all know, is gonna scare the hell out of everyone if he acquires that thickness in his side shorts. So I just cannot wait for Samson to go to Oxygen Gym Kuwait and train there for the rest of the season. Because I believe he's gonna turn into a true monster this time. So the great Dexter Jackson said that don't ever expect Samson Dauda to get Hadi Choopan level of conditioning, because that's not in his genetics. But he also said all Samson has to do is to close that conditioning gap between him and Derek and Hadi, the way he did for the Arnold Classic UK, which was undoubtedly the best condition of his entire pro career. And yes, I know Hadi Choopan wasn't at his best, especially at the prejudging, because of that whole visa fiasco. But still, the way Samson improved from Ohio to UK, that was truly commendable. So Samson Dauda heading over to Kuwait, that is truly an exciting chapter. He's the top 3 guy in the world. His back looked a lot more improved, especially at the Arnold UK, and I'm sure he is gonna continue to make more improvements leading into this year's Mr. Olympia as well. So how impressed are you guys with this update of Samson Dauda, considering he just started this off-season? And do let me know what you guys think. Who is gonna place higher at this upcoming Mr. Olympia? Nick Walker or Samson Dauda? So talking about Kuwait and the Oxygen gyms, guess who just made it to O2 gyms today? The Prophecy, Nathan Diesha, back to the place where he had the most success as an IFBB pro. The look that Nathan brought to the Olympia stage back in 2017, that was arguably one of the best looks of his entire career. And he placed the highest that year as well, 7th to be precise. So his entire training and diet regime was programmed by those guys at the Oxygen gym. So what's next for Nathan? Well, he's gonna be competing in Italy in about 4 weeks time now. And the man looks ready to rock the stage once again. So I am really excited to witness this rematch between Behrouz Tabani and Nathan Diesha, because it is gonna be Nathan's first show of the season. And his track record shows us when he is fresh, he peaks much better. We saw the same thing happen back in 2023. He looked absolutely phenomenal throughout the whole European tour, especially at Flex Pro Italy and Europa Pro Spain. But his look kinda declined in quality as he did more shows later during the year, especially those shows in the post-Olympia tour, where he actually lost to Behrouz Tabani at Romania. Plus, I believe this is gonna be a different Nathan Diesha this time, because he had a very well planned off-season this time. He almost touched 300 pounds during the off-season, and even with that really heavy weight, he stayed in an exceptional condition throughout the off-season. So this was probably the biggest and the leanest Nathan we ever saw in the off-season. And that was really unlikely of Nathan. So I believe that is gonna pay off very well this year, as he is planning to do multiple shows this year as well. So Nathan is probably gonna have the same weakness, because he had that weakness throughout his career. His hamstrings aren't as good as the rest of his body, and that is always gonna be the case, because that is something that's genetics, and you cannot really fight that. But overall, he is a good bodybuilder, and he is very complete. So one of the freakiest pros in the pro bodybuilding right now, who was supposed to compete this weekend, but isn't gonna compete, is Vlad. So he broke his arm during the month of February, and that whole recovery process, that was the most difficult time in his life. Because Vlad is a young bodybuilder, and when you have such a setback, almost at the beginning of your career, it is tough to get back up. But he's back in the gym, training really hard, and taking more time to regain all the mass and all the density that he lost during this whole recovery period. So Vlad never announced it officially, but he was supposed to do the New York Pro and California Pro this weekend. It was mentioned previously that he was going to be doing Korea Pro, but I guess that show got cancelled. So the chances of him getting a high place at shows like the New York Pro and Cali Pro, they were very little, considering the competition. But still, he could have been a great addition in those lineups. So Vlad is a true freak of nature, but it was really unfortunate for him that he packed on a lot of size in very little time, and he ended up blowing his waistline And whenever he is in comparison to the other guys on the stage, his thick waistline that always holds him back. And that I have to say is always gonna play a major role on where he places in these bodybuilding shows. Is John Jewett gonna be one of the most improved bodybuilders from 2023 to 2024? He has put on some serious size during the off-season, and that I have to say is the execution of off-season plan to absolute perfection. So right now he is 7 weeks out of his first show of the season, which is gonna be Vancouver Pro. And it is very safe to say that he is right where he needs to be this far out. In fact, he looks ahead of the schedule judging the condition from his most recent update. So the biggest mistake anyone competing in Vancouver Pro can make this year is to miss their mark on the show day, is to come in off in terms of conditioning. Because John is that guy who's gonna make you look like a water buffalo on the stage if you are off. And it doesn't really matter how much you outweigh him on the stage. Because that is exactly what we saw at the Legion Sports last year, which was actually his men's open bodybuilding debut, where William Martins, who was weighing 340 pounds in the off-season, and he actually had a lot of hype going into that show. But at the end, he got smoked by almost everyone, guys who were in a better condition than him, and that included John Jewett as well. So I believe John is a great addition in the men's open bodybuilding, and actually he has a great shot at qualifying for this year's Mr. Olympia in the men's open bodybuilding, because conditioning-wise, he can match anyone, all the top guys even in the men's open. And don't forget, he has been a 212 Olympian in the 212 class. More from the Brazilian sensation, Rafael Brandao 20 weeks out of his second Mr. Olympia, where he will be aiming to bring the exact same package as the Arnold Classic Ohio, with a little bit more size. So the rate at which Brandao has been able to pack on muscle, that has been relatively slow. In fact, a lot slower than some of these other mass monsters, guys like Nick Walker, Samson Dauda, Hunter Labrado. So Rafael has been competing as a pro since 2017. Yes, he took his time, but according to him, he did not rush things, and he never will. Because the biggest weapon that he has in his arsenal, that is his shape, that is his symmetry, that is his amazing flow. So his coach Neil Hill said that it's gonna take another year or maybe two in order to be big enough, so that he can match a guy like Samson Dauda in terms of size. So, is he gonna be a factor at this year's Mr. Olympia, specifically in the first call-out? Well, not if everyone brings their A game. Rafael looked spectacular at the Arnold Classic in Columbus. He outconditioned Samson Dauda, and by quite some margin. But still, the matter of the fact is this: he still wasn't even close to beating Samson. The reason, he still needs more size. And if we look at some of the names who are going to be competing for that first call-out: Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chopin, Samson Dauda, Nick Walker, Brandon Carey, Andrew Jack, Big Ramy, Hunter Labrada. That is already 8 guys. So I don't think he's going to be in the first call-out. But do let me know what you guys think. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you want to come back for more. Thanks for watching.